Hi everyone, welcome to episode 37 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. If you want, follow me on Twitter at bpiv_sports. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Podbean, wherever else you guys get your podcasts. This week's episode, we had a couple matches. We have Dash and Dawson against Enzo and Cass, and a main event of Tyler Breeze against Samoa Joe. So the first match on the card was Emma versus Shaza. I have no idea who that was. She's also from Australia, so this might be the first time that we had an Aussie versus an Aussie in a match on WWE. Regardless, I don't even know where to begin with this match. There wasn't much to it, to be honest. Emma won after she hit the Emma-mite sandwich and an Emma lock. But the whole match, Emma was taking this as a joke. She had her arms crossed, just laughing at her opponent. Shaza got a couple of moves in, but nothing really too spectacular, because they are building to Emma versus Asuka, whether it's at TakeOver or just on an episode of NXT. That's definitely where they're going with this. But I don't think I've ever been bored during a women's match. Then again, you'll see my analysis of the Nia Jax match later on. It could get worse, but it was what it was. We then got highlights of James Storm's debut from last week. Tom Phillips caught up with him after his match, and he ranted and raved about being in NXT, what it means to him, how the fans were chanting, "You belong here," all that kind of stuff. We then got a Finn Balor video package, something similar to the build that we had towards his title match back in Japan. Just highlights of his career, NXT superstars, speaking about Finn Balor. Like I said, it's something that we've seen before. Second match on the card was Jason Jordan and Chad Gable versus Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Match of the night. It was my favorite match, possibly one of my favorite tag team matches in NXT. As soon as I saw this pop on the screen, I was giddy. I was happy, whatever you want to call it. I was really excited to see how this match went. Gable and Ciampa started. The fans started chanting Jordan Gable, but in the tune of Kurt Angle's song. Gable and Ciampa went back and forth with some mat wrestling. Gable took Ciampa down with a drop to hold. And after that, some of the fans actually got up to their feet and started clapping, which began chants of "This is wrestling." And for the whole match, it was what pro wrestling should be. But also, why are you chanting that? Because you're obviously at a wrestling event. You know this is wrestling. You're not at a baseball game. So that's not one of my favorite chants, but I understand why they said it in this case. Gargano came in. Him and Ciampa took down Jordan with some kicks and stomps. Jordan then took Gargano down with a huge fireman's carry, and Gable came back in. Gargano placed Gable on the top and landed a nice heel kick. Gable countered his next attack and locked in an armbar over the top rope, which then began a "This is awesome" chant. A little early for that, but definitely a nice spot. Gargano then speared Gable through the ropes, which led to a commercial break. When they came back from break, Ciampa was in control. Gargano and Ciampa kept fresh. They kept making frequent tags, keeping Gable away from Jason Jordan. Gable wasn't able to make his comeback. He took Gargano down with a nice hip toss and tagged in Jason Jordan to a mild tag. Wasn't the biggest reaction I've ever heard from a tag, but the crowd was cheering a little bit. He took out both opponents with some nice drop kicks and then landed a release belly-to-belly on Tommaso Ciampa. He then landed a tiger suplex, went for a pin, but Gargano broke it up. Gable was held back by the refs as Ciampa and Gargano landed a running knee heel kick combo on Jason Jordan in the corner. Gable broke up the pin after a flipping DDT from Gargano. Jordan fought back, tagged in Gable as they hit their finisher to win. My explanation seriously doesn't do it justice. It was, like I said, one of the best tag matches I've seen in a while. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable were the fan favorites in this match. Even though Gargano got some Johnny Wrestling chants, they were playing more of the heel role in this match, especially taking advantage when the referee had his back turned. But Chad Gable's going to be over. Jason Jordan's going to tag along for the ride and get some heat with that, which is good for him. Gargano and Ciampa can go either way. They can be baby faces. They can definitely fit that heel role. But regardless, great match. Great match. There's not enough I could say about this match. Devin Taylor then interviewed Bayley about Alexa Bliss's comments last week. Third match was Nia Jax versus Kaylee Ray. I have no idea where they're getting these women from. I don't know if it's just some part of their developmental. They're just picking them off the indies. But they're just new women every week. Like, you had Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, now you have Kaylee Ray. And speaking of that, where are they getting these names? Are they just picking them out of a hat? Because they're not the most appealing names. Granted, I know they're jobbers, but you could definitely get something a little better than Kaylee Ray. Anyway, Ray kind of tried her best to take down Jax. She landed a couple kicks, but Nia Jax caught her with her spine buster and then hit a leg drop to win. like I said, if the Emma match didn't bore me enough, this one was a lot worse. I guess the good thing is that Nia Jax had better attire on that this week instead of that purple and blue jumpsuit. But that's the only thing positive that I got out of this match. Fourth match was scheduled to be Enzo and Cass versus Dash and Dawson, but as Enzo and Cass were making their entrance, Dash and Dawson attacked him from behind. They threw Cass leg first into the video board and then focused on his leg. I believe Dash had him in a figure four, like Texas Cloverleaf kind of thing, and Dawson had him in the figure four leg lock, and then Dash Wilder jumped from the top rope and jumped on his leg, which is how they plan on writing off Cass from TV. And WWE and NXT reported on Twitter that he has a sprained MCL from the attack, which he had previously before, so this was just his way of getting off TV to write him off. But it's a good heat-inducing angle for Dash and Dawson. It's a good follow-up from the last week when Enzo got the cheap win. They were pissed about it, attacked him from behind. It's good storytelling, and I know some of the spoilers. I won't ruin it for you guys, but it's definitely a nice push for Dash and Dawson. After that, Tom Phillips interviewed Alexa Bliss with Blake and Murphy behind her. Alexa Bliss then challenged Bayley to a 6-person tag. So it'll be Alexa Bliss, Blake, and Murphy against Bayley and 2 partners if she can find any. I saw Bayley put out on Twitter at Sami Zayn asking if he was healthy. I don't know if that's just trying to get the fans riled up or if something that he's coming back, but it'll be interesting to see regardless who she picks. My guess is the Vaudevillains, but I have no idea where they're going to go with Bayley's partners. We then got part 2 of the Apollo Crews video package, and then the main event was Samoa Joe versus Tyler Breeze. Breeze ran away from Joe in the early going, kind of playing heel, obviously, running around, ducking him. Joe got fed up and was running after him, but Breeze got in the ring first, and then he capitalized off that, stomping on him, taking advantage. Samoa Joe came back with a nice corner splash, and then about 15 strikes in a 30-second period. Breeze left the ring again. This time, Joe didn't let him get some time. He dove through the ropes and landed a flying forearm to the face. Back from the commercial break, Joe landed some kicks and a knee stomp. Breeze returned the favor with a flipping backstabber. He then caught Joe off the ropes with a beautiful-looking drop kick. Him and Jason Jordan have some of the best drop kicks in NXT. He then locked in a chin lock, but Joe fought out of it. Joe landed an atomic drop, running big boot, and then his senton, and then hit his one-arm slam from the corner. Joe went to set him up for the muscle buster, but Breeze rolled through and got a near fall. He then connected with the supermodel kick, but Joe was able to kick out. Breeze rolled Joe up, but Joe flipped him back over and locked in the coquina clutch to get the win. A decent main event. It was a good follow-up to the Battle Royal a couple of weeks ago where obviously Joe was pissed at Breeze for eliminating him when he was already eliminated. Breeze obviously did that because Joe eliminated him from the match first. So there was obviously a story there, but the first half of the match was all right, a little slow for me. But once they got back from break, all the different counters and near falls that they had, and the finish was cool, having the roll-up and then Joe flipping back over, locked in the coquina clutch. Creative finish. The crowd actually really wasn't that into Samoa Joe when he won. I don't know if they know that Tyler Breeze is done on NXT, or they just wanted to see Tyler Breeze get a big win. I know I'm in the latter category. Well, I'm actually in both. I definitely don't want to see Tyler Breeze leave NXT, because I wish he would have got a NXT title shot, or he got a shot, at least a title run. But seeing him on the main roster and what he's doing, obviously he's better off in NXT. But also during this match, I definitely think there were hints of a Samoa Joe heel turn, not even including the crowd reaction. I just think that there were some of his tendencies in the match, some of the stuff that he was doing, his facial reactions, that kind of stuff that more leaned towards Joe being heel in about a couple months, maybe getting ready for him versus Balor in London. But that's just my guess. That's where I think that's going. We actually weren't done after this. Devin Taylor caught up with Finn Balor, asked him about his feeling towards his title match next week. He said someday Apollo Crews will be NXT champion, but it's not going to happen next week. And that's how the show closed. Good episode. Both women's matches were boring as shit. If you didn't watch NXT yet, I would fast forward them. Unless you want to just look at Emma. Got sidetracked there. The tag match, like I said, was great. Best match I've seen in weeks on NXT, not counting TakeOver, actual NXT. The other tag match was more of an angle, obviously, to write Colin Cassidy off TV. And then the main event was a grudge match, if anything, with the babyface going over. But yeah, that was it. You had 4 matches and a nice angle in this week. And next week we have Apollo Crews versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. So that was episode 37 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on iTunes. All that kind of good stuff. I'll be back here, same time, same place next week. Peace.